Half Life Alyx. It's finally here. After 13 years, it was definitely worth the wait. A new Half-Life game. I want to start with the fact that this video is split into two parts. A non-story spoiler section. I'll be talking about gameplay, weapons, and levels. I'll also be showing general gameplay from the first two chapters of the game, basically levels that have been shown off before the game was released, plus the opening of the game. So if you want no gameplay spoilers, then come back after you play the game for yourself or you watched a good playthrough of it. I recommend the playthrough by D from Node. He's one of the few people who actually know how to make VR look good on YouTube. Link in the description. The second part is full of spoilers, story and ending and just general gushing. I'll let you know when that's coming up, so don't scrub the timeline if you're trying to avoid story spoilers and just want a general review. Okay, with that out of the way, general thoughts about the game. Valve was right that you should play Half-Life 2 and its episodes before playing this game. It's not needed, and you can easily enjoy the game and gameplay without doing so, but I highly recommend it. There's a lot of references and callbacks that have more of an impact if you have Half-Life 2 knowledge. And the game also opens up with a spoiler from Half-Life 2, Episode 2. Plus, the Half-Life games are just good games in general, and have held up pretty well in my opinion. The biggest complaint that Half-Life Alyx gets is that it's VR only, and I get it. If you're a big fan of Half-Life 2 and you waited 13 years for another Half-Life game, and it's on a platform you can't get, that's a big letdown. And some people see this as Valve being anti-consumer, but all platforms need an exclusive flagship to really propel it into the mainstream. If Half-Life Alyx was just a regular PC game with VR capabilities, it really wouldn't do what it was made for. VR needs this kind of game to make VR more mainstream. It's a system seller, just like how Nintendo has Mario and Zelda, Microsoft has Halo, and Sony has God of War, just to name a few. Plus, Valve chose to make Steam VR and Half-Life Alyx an open VR platform. It's not just tied to the really expensive Valve Index. You can play on a wide range of HMDs at different price points. I played it on the Rift S, and I can tell you that it plays perfectly. Valve has made alternative control schemes for different controllers. Plus, Half-Life Alyx features a lot of accessibility options like one-handed mode and light sensitivity. In addition, this game does a lot of cool stuff that won't translate well outside of VR. A lot of puzzles require both freehand movement and depth perception, which can't work on a flat screen. The game was designed with VR in mind. And Valve had to make a lot of game decisions, so this means Alyx walks a lot slower. There are less enemies and the maps are a lot smaller. Now that isn't a negative in VR. Honestly, it's preferred. It allows you to take your time, look around the environment, look at every nook and cranny. In VR, you can only aim and dodge as fast as you can in real life, so less enemies are more manageable, and not requiring you to flick shot everything like a madman. If you try and take out VR from Half-Life Alyx, you wouldn't have much of a game left. VR is hard to explain. Most people who never experience VR just assume it's a regular game but in 3D. But it's so much more than that. It's really something you can't understand unless you try it yourself. And I know that's kind of a lame way to put it, but in this case I think it's justified. I played a lot of VR games. Half-Life Alyx still managed to blow my mind. The world building, the sound, the sense of scale was perfect. Oh man, the sense of scale. This is something a lot of VR games get wrong, when they try to be realistic. I felt that Half-Life Alyx got the sense of scale perfect. For the NPCs and everything else, they looked like what I expected a real human to be. The gameplay of Half-Life Alyx can be broken down into two parts: combat and exploration, or as I like to call it, spot the resin. When you're not in combat, you're usually looking for ammo or resin in all sorts of places, inside tables, crates, lockers, and behind other stuff. Resin is the currency of the game. It allows you to upgrade your weapons, and if you keep an eye out, you usually could get one upgrade per level. I finished the game with about a little more than half of the weapon upgrades. I was also trying to rush through the game to avoid getting spoiled by the internet, so there's a lot of resin to go around. Combat feels good. All the weapons, they're really satisfying to play with, especially the shotgun. There's only two things I didn't like about combat. One is that you can't swap weapons between your hand. You can only hold weapons in your primary hand. The second thing is that there's no melee. Weird, cause this is a Half-Life game. The crowbar is the most iconic weapon of Half-Life, and you can't even swing a pipe to hurt an enemy in this game. You can throw it, and it will stun them, but swinging, it does nothing. Now, VR melee is something that's hard to pull off. A lot of it is just wild flailing in most games. Boneworks has melee and it doesn't feel too good, and H3 VR has melee too, and it is terrible. But a Half-Life game where you can't beat a headcrab with a blunt object? That's just wrong. Okay, time for major spoilers and ending stuff, so here's your spoiler warning. You have been warned. Now this game has a lot of amazing VR moments, and I've rewatched them on YouTube, and they really aren't the same as seeing it inside VR. The first is obviously when you see the Striders. I never smiled so much watching the Striders walk around. And my biggest oh my god moment was when Alyx derailed the train carrying Eli. The whole spectacle was fantastic, and to add on top of that amazing sight was seeing that the train was carrying advisors. That sent chills down my spine. But probably the best moment of the game before the end is Jeff. My boy Jeff from the distillery. He has no eyes, but he hears pretty damn well. Jeff is something, possibly formed from whatever this is. Jeff is terrifying, and the first up close encounter to Jeff is this. Yeah, no, I don't want to mess with that. At one point, Alyx traps Jeff in a storage room, but then the power goes out, and the only way to get the power back on is by letting Jeff out. The Jeff level is by far one of the greatest moments in VR. Terrifying as all hell, and it being in VR just amplifies it. Half-Life Alyx is actually a survival horror game. Half-Life 2 has always had horror elements to it, but Half-Life Alyx raises that bar. The ending of Half-Life Alyx is really what I want to talk about. The whole game is about getting to the vault. What's in the vault is a mystery, and it's slowly revealed as to what it could be holding. At first, Eli believes it's a super weapon that they could get a hold of to use against the Combine, but then realizes it's a creature that the Combine are afraid of. Whatever this thing is, it needs the power of the Vortigons to contain it. The Combine have imprisoned the Vortigons to use their magic against whatever this thing is. And lastly, Eli and Alyx have come to a revelation that it has to be Gordon Freeman, due to a conversation between a mysterious woman who may be Mossman or just a random new character, and an advisor.
Hi, okay, great, finally, hi. We need to move the box or this thing is gonna be Black Mesa all over again. Well, now I'm telling you it is ready. Look, if it's still here when she gets there, he's gone. What in the history of today makes you think you're gonna stop her? Look, this guy we've got in there survived Black Mesa. He raised holy hell and then just disappeared. We finally caught him and you're just gonna let him go again? Move the box.
Survived Black Mesa, then disappeared. Eli, they do have a super weapon.
God damn it, Russ, they got Gordon Freeman.
Oh, wow. That's good, right?
This is very,
Very good.
After one sick Strider battle later, Alyx enters the vault. Stripped of her weapons, the last thing she hears is Eli telling her not to enter the vault. A few trippy Doctor Strange stuff and some zappy zappies with Alyx's super gravity gloves. There it is, the core, with a shadowy figure standing inside. Alyx opens it, and it's revealed to not be the free man. It's G-Man. G-Man thanks Alyx for freeing him, and offers to do something in return for her. He allows Alyx to save Eli. By doing so, Alyx has signed a contract with G-Man, like how Gordon did in Half Life 1 for saving him. Credits roll, and this plays out.
Vital signs critical. Seek medical attention.
Gordon! Gordon! Wake up, Gordon. She's gone, Gordon. She's gone. Son of a bitch, it has unforeseen consequences. I knew it. When I get my hands on her, I'm gonna kill him. I gotta figure this out. Right now. Come on, Gordon. We got work to do.
Alyx has been plucked from the end of Half Life 2 Episode 2. Half Life Alyx is just one big Half Life 3 confirmed. There is so much to unpack here. Gordon and Eli not only need to stop the Combine from finding the Borealis, but also save Alyx from the G-Man. This is a bigger cliffhanger than Half Life 2 Episode 2's ending. Now, I am a huge Half-Life fan. I played all of them, and seeing this ending, this post-credit sequence, being the free man himself, was amazing. It is one of the best video game moments. I was speechless. Thank you, Valve. And I just hope we don't have to wait another 13 years to get a resolution. Thanks for watching. I got an appointment with a headcrab. I'll see you in the next one.